getting the show to season 2, 3, 8, 10, 12, that's the win.
Yeah.
Getting more content on the Food Network, that's the win.
But I will also say, like, you have wanted to be the host of a show on your own for a really long time. So getting this was a big win.
Welcome back to the Harley Malarkey Podcast.
Old Dog, New Tricks.
Old Dog, New Tricks.
Now you can finally see us in our new studio. Mr. Cameraman over here messed something up last week, so I'm a little bummed because it was honestly one of our best episodes.
It was. And the fact that we did it entirely naked, and you will never see that, be that good or bad, could be a win for all of us.
Could be.
I guess we won't do that naked again.
I don't know. It might have gone viral. That's what we need. We need to go viral.
Viral. It could go viral in like a really bad way, though.
Yeah.
You know, like COVID.
Viral's kind of a weird word. Yeah. It sounds like virus.
Yeah. Let's jump into it. Anything great we've been eating lately?
No, I'm kind of in a bad mood.
You are in a bad mood. She's in a bad mood because she says she's too cold. There's stuff going on. There's high schoolers that are living with us full time right now.
I'm always stimulated. I just like want a fucking break.
I told you can go to the beach house. This is the beach house studio now. Nice new studio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our little guest house.
You can come escape here anytime you want.
I know. I should have brought my stuff.
Yeah, you could have. So, this week's subject.
You got a new show.
I got a new show.
Yeah.
I got a new show. So some of you that have been following our social medias know that I am now the host of Cutthroat Kitchen, the iconic show from the Food Network that was previously hosted by Alton Brown, the legendary Alton Brown. See, I mean, if I get to walk in his footsteps, I get to be kind of cool too, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the fact that the Food Network gave me my own show is extremely exciting. Started to see the previews just recently. And what did you think of seeing your man on those previews dressed with his little mohawk and his little...
I think that my man is so great at what he does, and I can't wait to see you on there. I think...
give me the real judgment, like, because I just see the previews. I remember that I didn't have full control of my wardrobe, and I was wearing a silk maroon shirt in one episode. And I was like, damn, how did I let them do that to me?
Very few people notice like little things like that, though. I feel like when it's not you up there, you're not critiquing every detail of the outfit. It's more of like the general vibe and energy. And it looked like a great vibe, great energy. I'm very excited to watch it. Before I met you 3.5 years ago, I had never seen any food TV in my whole life except for the Great British Baking Show. And I had a slight crush on the gray-haired man with a beer belly.
So are you saying I am now your new gray-haired man with a beer belly?
No, but this is a whole new world for me. So I've never seen the original Cutthroat Kitchen, although I know I should have. But it's a whole new world for me. It's your world, and I'm so excited. I love watching you on TV, so I can't wait to see this show come out.
Your anticipation is really muffled.
I'm having a rough day.
I'm just like, I don't think you are excited. You're like, oh, really? This is what we're doing? Oh, Cutthroat Kitchen? I had this whole idea of talking about how Cutthroat Kitchen, how I'm 50-something years old. I've been grinding and working my whole career trying to get my own TV show, and I finally have my own show. And you're like, yeah, it looks really good.
Well, maybe this wasn't the day for me to record it if you wanted me to
be excited. No,
I am excited.
I appreciate your checked enthusiasm because let me just be forthright with this. I was hesitant about doing another game show. There's so many cooking competition shows on the Food Network, and I've been submitting great ideas to the Food Network and other venues to do our restaurant opening show, our silly slapstick comedy kitchen shenanigans, our rock and roll roadshow show. I want to do something that's not a cooking competition show. So when this one came up though, and I'm like, I am obnoxious enough, and it's we need to say that is I know who I am in real life. You obviously do. And I know who I am as the characters I am on the Food Network is just amplified me. But I was like, this one I can do. This is going to be great. It's not another Jump in the Sharks. It's an iconic show. It's Cutthroat Kitchen. I am cutthroat. I am mischievous. I'm find myself to be hilarious also. And
too.
they kept me in check in the first season. It's going to be really, really good, but I cannot wait. The battle cry is for season 2. So everybody has to watch season 1 to make sure that we get season 2, because they're going to take the reins off of me.
Well, I do think that in the 3.5 years that I've known you, you have evolved immensely. And I think through that evolution, you do know who you are and you are really comfortable in your own skin. And you're not afraid to make yourself the butt of the joke. Not that you necessarily ever were, but I think there's this level of kind of confidence and self-assurance that you didn't have when I first met you. And I imagine that you had even more of that, even when I did meet you than you did when you started getting in food TV 20 years ago. And I think it makes sense why at 52 years old, you're just now, this is the first show you've hosted, right?
This is the first show that's just me.
Yeah.
It's me.
And I think that you really have earned it and you deserve it, and that you are going to exceed everybody's expectations of you. And I think it's, partially because you put in the hours, like you've been on TV a bunch, you love being on TV, but you've also put in the work emotionally and spiritually. And I think that plays an important role in somebody's success.
I couldn't agree more. And I do believe that this is the right opportunity for us to change the title of the show. And it's not Old Dog New Tricks. It's called Blowing Hot Air Up Malarkey's Ass. It's like you got the job. Like, I love you. I love you. I loved you a lot like 2 minutes ago, and I love you so much more right now. So,
but I think that, I guess the point of my flattery, which is very genuine, is that you might not have been ready for this until you were 52 years old. And I think in a lot of ways that should give people out there hope and faith. If you feel like you're behind, if you feel like you haven't done what you've wanted to yet in life, that maybe you just need more time. Maybe you need more life experience. Maybe you need to get knocked around a little bit more to learn who you really are, to be ready for what you want in life. And I think you've wanted this forever. You've wanted it much longer than just now. And now is when you're finally ready.
Okay, so that leads me into a story, a couple different stories here. I agree 100%. I wasn't ready for it mentally, with the drinking and just running hot and confusion and not having happiness inside myself and family structure and stuff like that. I wasn't ready for it. I wouldn't have done well. And so I actually am really glad that I was given this shot. And also, if you read reports on people who are peaking in their career, people financially, successfully and stuff like that, most of it doesn't happen until after 50. Now, I know there's some of you young people out there that have actually crushed it early. Congratulations.
But can you sustain that?
Oh, that's true.
Because you can have a big burst of success, but if you don't have the emotional kind of structure underneath of you, a lot of times people can't sustain big successes that they create early in their careers.
That's good. That's good. Yeah. So fuck you, people.
Some people can.
Just try to stay on that bull. Try to ride that bull for the 8 seconds. Okay. I am in a place where I'm ready for it, and I really feel I'm ready for this, and I'm excited. And this is going to lead to a lot more great Cutthroat Kitchens, and it's going to allow me the opportunity to get some of the other content I really want on the TV, because I'm a TV guy. The story is, I did have my biggest job I ever had was back in the day. I don't know how many years ago. I was cast on a TV show called The Taste, right? A total ripoff of The Voice. Anthony Bourdain was the executive producer. So the judges were Anthony Bourdain, portraying the hard-hitting East Coast New Yorker, right? Nigella Lawson playing the Queen of England, this beautiful, sophisticated woman. Then you had Ludo, who was the mean Frenchman. And then you had me. How I got cast in this show, I'll never know. I went in and just sold the producers and the director and all that stuff. I was like, it's my show. I got cast, and I was dumbass West Coast apple pie Americana, right? Blonde, frosted tips. And we got up on this show, and it was a huge budget. It was on ABC, huge sound studio. Like, I can't even imagine how big the budget was. And we had a bite, and we would pick our team based on a bite. And then we would train our team just like The Voice, right? And so, I'm sitting next to iconic Bourdain, and Bourdain's sitting to my outside. Nigella's right here, and then Ludo's over there. And I was like, Bourdain should sit in the middle. And the producer's like, no, we want you in the middle. I was like, don't put me in the middle. Don't put me in the middle. And as the show was going, I realized that Bourdain is a phenomenal writer, and Bourdain is fantastic for his CNN and all of his travel and his books. But what Bourdain is not good on is in the moment, in the moment, in the moment. So he was kind of the seated host. There was no Ryan Seacrest or whoever else hosts those shows, but there was nobody on the stage to do that. So Bourdain was the host from his seat, and he would be like, there are 14 of you contestants. Yes. Okay. 14 contestants. And by the second or third episode, it was me. And I had the earbud on. I was like, there's 12 contestants left. And the next competition is going to be the fiercest one yet. But whatever they were saying to me, I could have been like totally Anchorman and just repeated whatever they said to me.
Yeah.
Like, Brian is a complete dumbass, and I would have said it, right? And I went on to win the show, and the show got picked up for a second season. And my fancy agent called me up, and he said, hey, good news, bad news. I was like, what? He goes, show got picked up. I was like, yeah. He goes, bad news, you just got fired, right? And so I got fired by Bourdain for essentially talking too much, and then also by beating the boss at golf. And I got fired, and the guy that produced the show, he came up to me, he goes, hey, Malarkey, you just weren't ready for it. And I was like, what do you mean? He goes, he said, I know you're going to come back. You're going to be huge. You're going to have your own thing one day. And that was like 15 years ago. I mean, so I've just been like failure, grind, failure, grind, failure, grind, until I made it. So this is a story of perseverance.
Yeah, it is a story of perseverance. And I think a really big part of that is that after you do fail, or, I don't know.
Are you referring to a fail in the future?
No. After you failed.
I thought you were just projecting into our future.
No. Like, but after you failed, you get up and you try again. And that's not to say that you are a great loser. You're a pretty fucking sore loser. You hate losing. And you throw yourself a pity party. You get pissed off.
Shut up.
And one time, I forget, he lost in like a pitch competition. And this is back in his drinking days. But like, I think I spent like 4 hours on the phone with him, talking him off a ledge and telling him that he really did deserve to win because he was so fucking pissed at how he was robbed. Like, he is not a good loser.
It was for Chef's Life. And it was at this like natural thing exhibit, blah, 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 and 20 up and coming companies. And I did the best fucking pitch and I had the best fucking product. And they were like, I didn't even make the top 5. And I was like, I'm going to win this whole thing. I just knew I was going to win the whole thing. And I didn't even make the top 5. And I was like, these motherfuckers. And I did. I went straight to the bar.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's just so many angry phone calls. I was like, Jesus Christ. I think he's gotten better at that. He's not as sore of a loser as he used to be. But regardless.
That time Bobby Flay fucking didn't let me compete against him and fucking winked at me. Yeah, that was it. That was like, oh, fucking.
He hasn't let that one go either. But you got to get back up and you got to try again. If you get knocked down, when you fail and you don't get back up, you will never fucking win. And everybody that is successful has failed multiple times. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough, you're not putting yourself in risky enough situations. So, it might take years. It might take 15 years before you get your win. But if you keep going, like, you'll get your win. It really is about perseverance and consistency.
And in all honesty, we haven't even won yet. we haven't watched the first episode yet. Reddit's being nice to me right now. I can't believe
we were
that.
shocked. Reddit's very excited.
I thought they would hate me for taking Alton Brown's spot on Cutthroat. But yeah, we haven't won. And because for me, getting on this show is not the win. Getting this show to season 2, 3, 8, 10, 12, that's the win.
Yeah.
Getting more content on the Food Network, that's the win.
But I will also say, like, you have wanted to be the host of a show on your own for a really long time. So getting this was a big win. And I think that a lot of times as humans, we have these goals. We have these lofty goals. Like, I'll be happy when I get the show, or I'll feel like I've made it when I get this show, or I'll feel like I've made it when I accomplish X,
and
Y,
I've already just wiped that all the way. I haven't even watched the first episode, and I'm already considering myself not a winner because I haven't been picked up yet. So are you saying I need to focus?
Well, no, I just think that everybody needs to realize that big thing that you're chasing isn't going to make you as happy as you think it is. Because Brian was excited when he got his show. He was excited to like see the first cut. Like, he's more excited about the creative process. Like, he loved filming it. He was so happy every day at the end of filming. He would call me in such a good mood, even though he had, poured out his heart and soul all day. But just getting the show, or even the show being announced, it was like, oh, I kind of thought I was going to feel happier than this.
What is wrong with me?
Nothing's wrong with you. That's what it's like being a human.
The journey is the great part.
Yeah, it's about the journey. Like you arrive and you're like, oh, I actually don't really feel any different than I did before this happened.
That's why I want to shoot more episodes. And this, yeah, and this is a.
But I do think I think that it is important to sit in that space. Like you can enjoy those wins more. Like we do need to give ourselves more credit for what we've accomplished and where we've gotten to. Like you should have allowed yourself to sit in that a little bit more. But I also think that when people think that this thing that they're chasing is going to solve all their problems or their feelings of inadequacy, like that never happens. The thing never fixes it. But you can celebrate the win.
Yeah, I do. And I will. But
for like a couple hours.
For a couple hours.
This reminds me of, I know this is a Cutthroat episode, but since I'm your podcast host, I can't just sit and talk only about Cutthroat. I have to talk about the psychological aspects of it.
That's what you're here for.
But it reminds me of
just for the record, I really enjoyed you just talking about me for a while.
I know.
Thank you so much.
Well, this whole episode's about you. This reminds me of the therapy session that you had last week. And
tell him I have a therapist.
And the exercise that she walked you through, because, one of Brian's things is that he is so driven and he loves creating. Like he loves working. He's like addicted to work. And a lot of that is really positive. I would say the negative part of that is just like the unnecessary pressure he puts on himself and kind of like feeling like he's never doing enough. It's like not necessarily doing things just because he loves them, but doing them because he feels inadequate if he's not constantly busy and creating. And his therapist walked him through this visualization.
Yeah. Oh, this is heavy. In my 20s, I was like, I don't know if I'm in for this journey. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I took a life insurance policy out of myself before I went to backpacking around Europe in my early 20s, thinking, I probably won't come back. And that was kind of a dark place in my life. And
incredibly dark. That's called being suicidal.
Yeah. Well, no, I would have like died by getting run over by a bulls with the running of the bulls.
A lack of will to live.
A lack of will to live. Yes. I would have gone out with better to burn out than fade away sort of thing, But then once I decided to commit to this life and get into it, I did. From like the 30s on, I just worked because my mom always said, you're a procrastinator. You don't get enough done. My stepfather was always challenged me. You have to do more. You have to do more. You're not worthy. You're not worthy in this. And I just work and I grind and I work and I grind. And I'm still working and grinding at my early 50s here. And I'm just like more than ever. And I was in with Regina, our therapist, and she said, we're going to do a little exercise. She said, let's go back and talk to that Brian in his late 20s, like who's just kind of figuring out, am I committing to life? Am I gonna peace out early? And let's ask him, what does he look like? Where is he at? And I saw me and it was everything like that. And she goes, ask him if he's proud of where you are right now, if he thinks you've accomplished enough. And it broke me down. And it broke me down completely because me, 20 years old, never thought I would be remotely close to where I am now. Like, this is a massive win. Like, holy shit, I thought we'd be living back at the ranch, cleaning stalls with Mamie, just kind of drinking beer and taking in the rest of life. And for me to see that, I broke down in tears and it was huge. And I was like going, oh my God, I'm a success. And it took that. And that's really, really deep. If you want to try to do that, go back and ask yourself if earlier you, at any time you want, your teenage years, your 20s, whatever age it is, are you impressed with what you see you are now from those younger eyes? Even a childlike's eyes, like, oh my God, look at what you've accomplished. And it gives you a whole different perspective on where you're at and what you've accomplished. And it could be wrong. It could be the opposite too, I suppose. It could be like, Jesus, I expected more of you.
Yeah. Yeah. I think a lot of us have come a lot farther than we ever give ourselves credit for. And we're all kind of like chasing. And I think what that visualization allowed you to do is really kind of like lock in and be like, wow, like I've accomplished more than I ever thought I was going to. And I feel like I'm just getting started. But now that I feel like I'm just getting started, can I accomplish more from a different place? Not the place of my parents not thinking that I was doing enough, not from the place of feeling like I needed to prove myself, but can I accomplish for the joy of creation, for bringing joy to other people, for whatever your why is, but kind of healing those wounded parts of you that got you to where you are now, because I think that's what gets a lot of people their initial success. You know, they're trying to prove themselves, to their parents, to people who have judged them. But I think one of the beauties of getting success in the second part of life is that, not that you can't do this in the first part of life, but you can chase after your success from a different place. You can say, okay, I came at it from my wounds. Now I'm going to come at it from my strengths and my wholeness and my joy. And let's see what that creates.
That's exactly what it is. And on this journey of me like going and uncovering what's motivated me and what's doing this, because again, up until Regina uncovered that and let me talk to a younger me, and I know this sounds, I mean, some people don't believe in this stuff, but it instantly released those years and years of that fucking dark secret drive that I didn't know what it was. Now I'm still driven, exactly like you just said. I'm still driven, but it's not out of a drive of guilt. It's out of, or like, I didn't accomplish enough. I need to do better. I need to do that. All those things I was programmed from young. And it's like when I'm doing something and I'm starting to get frustrated with it, be it the businesses or the kids or whatever it is, I'm like grinding. I'm like all of a sudden like going, oh no, this is chosen. I chose this and this is fun. And she said something else that really made fun too. She goes, and if something fucks up and fails, Brian, it's not a failure. Like I didn't fail getting fired from the Taste. I didn't fail from getting not that job. I learned lessons. Those were all the lessons I needed to learn to get to where I am now. And just in a week of revealing myself to Regina and saying that, I seriously look at everything so much different. Now I'm propelled just by my own personal satisfaction rather than trying to prove stuff to everyone, because I just proved something to the most important person, and that was younger me. Younger me is like fucking ecstatic. Like, holy shit, you're there. You did this. You have this. You have children. You have this. Like, I didn't think any of this shit was going to happen. Like, oh my God. So I've accomplish what I need to for myself.
Yeah.
And when you do this work, like going back and trying to figure out what programmed me, what's giving me these guilts and stuff like that, I was so scared. I was like, well, what happens when I find it? Then what do I do? Well, once you find it, it's already taken care of. It literally just released right then. You know, ever since we did the Cowboys Don't Cry, I fucking am so in touch with my emotions now. And, you know, it's maybe too much at times, but it's just all of a sudden now I feel the healing that has not happened for all these years. And it's not just happening with me. I'm realizing that my kids and you, we're all healing together.
Yeah.
And it's a good thing. It's a celebration of like, might be dark and scary, but at least we're getting rid of this fucking junk.
I think once you're in it, you realize it's less dark and scary. It's kind of like the monster that's actually not under your bed. You're like, oh, I was running from something, and now that I see what I was running from, I'm not scared anymore. But our astrologist, anybody who doesn't like astrology, you can tune out for a second. She did say to me, you know, Brian is an air sign. He's got, his chart is full of air. Like, he decides to heal, he heals instantly. Not everybody's like that. We have a few earth signs in our lives. We realize that they don't quite heal so quickly. But it is, you know, chipping away one thing at a time. And whether it creates an instant release or it just creates a little opening, you're starting your path there. You asked me an inquisitive question the other night, which this is our whole relationship. I like always ask Brian, like, what's something that you're proud of yourself for? What is something that you regret? And
I said those things.
He started asking me those questions the other night, and I was like, oh, this is so cute. And he asked, like, what is my regret? And I said, you know, my biggest regret in life is just the amount of time I've spent worrying about things that for the most part never happened. And I asked him what his regret was. And he's kind of like, I regret that I didn't have a better mentor in my 20s. Joys of recording in a semi-construction zone. You lose your power. We're not sure where we lost you.
I've been a B-leaguer in the Food Network for a long, long time. Thank you to Guy Fieri for keeping me relevant, keeping so many of us relevant on Guy's Grocery Games and Tournament of Champions and all of the other great shows in the Food Network. And finally, the right show at the right time. I went in for the audition, and I just knew it was my show. It was just believing it. It wasn't just manifest. It wasn't just thinking about something. I manifested it. I was like, this is my show. I'm Cutthroat. I'm going to walk in there. I'm going to take the show day one. It's mine. And it's so fun. After I did get the show, they're like, Malarkey, you had it in the first 30 seconds. Like, you just came in like, it's my show. And that's a great lesson for everyone. If you want something, you just go in there and you take it and you manifest and you believe in it.
I love it. So for everybody,
I love it. Now let me analyze this situation a little bit.
So no, for everybody who was a big Cutthroat fan, who loved the show with Alton Brown, this one is called Cutthroat Knives Out.
Cutthroat Kitchen.
Cutthroat Kitchen Knives Out.
Yes.
What can people expect to see in the show?
This is my interview. Okay.
What are they going to love that's from the Cutthroat Classic?
Well, I'm so glad you asked.
What are the new flares, the new things you bring to this
Okay,
series?
thank you. So the old Cutthroat Kitchen, iconic. I think they had 14 or 15 seasons. I competed on it back in the olden days. I competed against Justin Warner. I was making pancake dough in my hand because they wouldn't, whatever. But I mean, it got to the point of doing lobster claws and you're on a mini kitchen. This one is not so silly like that. We have a great LED screen, and when you're in the mountains, you're literally in the mountains. And when you're at my aunt's house, you're at my aunt's house. But it's all of a sudden all the ingredients are frozen. How do you get out of this mess? You only have a few heat sources, or there's a storm coming and we have this, or they're kind of, over the top practical things, but there is some practicality to all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I love so much, is that when we were talking about this before we started filming, I said, I don't want it just to be another cooking competition show, another game show. I want it to have some knowledge. And if we can provide education and entertainment simultaneously, it's the greatest thing ever. So they said, Malarkey, because that's who I am on the show. Malarkey, would you be comfortable talking to camera? I was like, what? Me? Scared to death. So what's really great is I watch the chefs overcome these obstacles, and I comment on what they're doing, what's genius about what they're doing, what's stupid what they're doing. And that way the home viewer is actually going, oh my God, don't overcrowd the saute pan. Oh, why'd they get such a thin saute pan? Why did they get that? Why did they get that? I would have picked that. And I'm wrong sometimes. And that's what's so much fun, is you get that education and the entertainment together.
I love that. As you mentioned earlier, you're so excited that you got the show. You're so excited, but what you really, really want now is season 2. Why do you want season 2 so bad? What's going to be different in season 2?
Well, thanks for asking. I appreciate these questions. It's like they're like T-ball, you set them up and I get it. Well, so season 1, you never really know the flow. The first couple episodes are a little choppy, a little crunchy. I always tell people the first episode of Seinfeld sucked, right? They'll even tell you that. It was just it didn't really work, And ours are
a little secret here. There's 9 episodes coming out. One of these was the pilot. So one of the episodes coming out was Brian's interview for the show.
100%.
And they're making it an episode.
And proof of concept that we could pull it off. And I hope they do announce, and I hope they listen to this podcast and say, hey, let's watch the making of Cutthroat Kitchen. And not just why is the set a little bit different?
I don't think they will. I think they're just going to throw it in as another episode. Who knows? But just insider.
I'll announce it. Don't worry, Food Network. I got this one. I'll take it. I'll announce and go, this is our first pilot, which would be a fun show to run at the end of the season. Oh, why do we want season 2? Because season 1, they're like, Malarkey, tone it down a little bit. Don't just go over the top. And I have a hard time toning it down. And they're like, oh, we have to dress you conservatively. We have to do this. We have to do this. Season 2, they take the handcuffs off. I know they will. And they will let me do whatever I want. And it is going to be wild and crazy because we have proof of concept. Once they know that the audience goes for it, I give you enough. I give you a lot. I give you everything in season 1. But I got so much more. And I cannot wait so I can dress cool, do my stuff, run around the set, be completely crazy, pull the craziest shenanigans, and make it the greatest Cutthroat ever. That's why we need season 2. And then it gets weirder and wilder all the way through.
Well, we know we want you unleashed.
Unleash.
Unleash malarkey is a fun thing.
It's not everybody wants that. We can go to Reddit on that one. And there's like some people want to leash malarkey up and some people want to just throw them in a cage.
I always think those people are fucking squares. I'm like, would you be fun at a dinner party? No, you wouldn't. The people that don't like you on Reddit. Yeah. Yeah. Not everybody loves being on TV. There's very few people that just live for being on TV. Maybe not very few people, but you're the only person I met who lives for being on TV. What do you love about being on TV so much?
I love, it's not just like being on TV, but I love to appreciate it. When we do these cooking competitions and these game shows, be it Guys Grocery Games or Tournament of Champions or Cutthroat Kitchen now, or Chopped or whatever they are, you're in a playground where they're trying to mess with you. And it's just so much fun that you're going to be able to create a complete disaster, have so much fun, try to overcome obstacles, try to beat that person next to you, and then be judged. Some people find that to be horrible. I think it's the greatest thing ever. And I love the game. I literally love the game. And I realize these games are entertainment. And I'm loud, I'm robust, I'm entertaining you, but I'm also cooking because I love the sport of cooking.
Yeah, I think you are very much an artist, and TV is one of your mediums, food is another medium, and being on food TV is a great artistic outlet for you. You love to create, and you love to bring joy to people. So it kind of hits on all the things that you love.
I do. I love to make people laugh at me. I don't take myself too serious. I'm out there having a good time. If there's more laughter in the world, no one's going to be mad at that, right? And I think you're saying like I'm the butt of my own jokes and stuff. We were walking down the street on what holiday? Easter, and my kids were destroying me. Like, your pants, your shoes, your jacket, your hair, your this. I mean, like that I really didn't enjoy, but I never let it get me down. I just like enjoyed it and kind of laughed at it.
I think it hurts more when it's your kids, when it's just strangers.
Why are kids so fucking mean, right? Like, do you think I even want my kids to watch this show? They're going to be like, what's that? Why do you do that? What's that? I was listening to music the other day at school to pick up my kid, and I rolled the window down. My son jumped in the car. He's like, roll the window up, roll the window up. Like, do you think people at school care what I'm listening to?
I will be happy to get through this phase of life in some ways.
Is that all for my questions?
No, I was going to say, I think one of a phrase that came to mind is we were at the pool in Cabo chatting it up with, I think, some guy named Jason from Northern California. And he gave us this line that I love and I think embodies you, which
everything.
is,
yes.
The world needs more levity, not gravity. And I think that's who you are. And that's what you bring to television.
More levity, not gravity. And I looked at him when he said that. And then I looked at Harley and I was like, that's it. That's everything, right? We don't need to be brought down. We need to be brought up. And that's what Cutthroat's doing. It's going to give you a little checkout time, get some education and entertainment. But in life, guys, if you're not bringing levity, you're bringing gravity. So we all got to focus on going up.
Hell yeah. May 13th. Tune in. Follow us on iTunes or Spotify or YouTube. Leave us a rating and review. We love it. Send us any questions.
Yeah, I dare you to.